Hi guys, it's Liz at Rose and Jones. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today I thought I'd share with you some perfumes, my latest perfume purchases, if I can talk properly. The ones I've been enjoying for the last maybe just under a couple of months. But we're just going to jump straight into it. So my first one I'm going to show you is the Thierry Mugler. It's the Alien EDT, not the EDP. I kind of wanted to jump on the Alien train a little bit. I've since getting into perfumes at the beginning of the year, I keep hearing about Alien, and I can't believe I've never actually smelt it. I've never actually got around to smelling it, and I hear it's a massive cult favourite from Thierry Mugler. And every time I hear about it, I'm really intrigued, and I think I've got to get my nose on this thing. And so I ordered a sample of the EDP and the EDT. And the EDP, as soon as I smelt it, I recognised it. I realised it was one of them smells that I had smelt before. Obviously, it's a really bold perfume. So it was obvious I was going to have smelt it before in other people. It took me right back to my early days. I think practically end of sort of teenage years. I think that's probably when it came out. I can't remember the exact year. But it took me right back. So although I didn't dislike it, it was too reminiscent of a time I'd already smelt it before, and I didn't really think it was something I was ever going to wear. But I did quite fancy the EDT. It's got the same kind of DNA. It's just slightly bit lighter, slightly bit softer. I think there's cashmereing in this, which is different to the EDP. The EDP has much stronger notes as far as I know. What I'll do is I'll list all the notes on the screen for each perfume, but I won't go through them, or I'll just talk about the ones I think that are relevant. This is actually classed as a woody floral, I think. The main notes are jasmine, amber, casherin and citruses. Cashmerean actually is a note I don't normally connect to. Normally, if I smell it in something, it tends to give me a headache. It's not something that I've smelled so far that's agreed with me, but I don't mind it in this. It kind of softens it down and makes it more appealing. I haven't reached for this perfume yet. I have to say, it's despite that it's an EDT, it's still very bold. So I don't know quite when I'm going to reach for it, but I do like it, and I think I'd probably reach for it on a day where I'm feeling like I want to be a bit more daring. You know, I've got a lot of scents that I usually wear when I'm just feeling like myself, like a familiar smell. One's more sort of floral and soft. This is completely out of my comfort zone, and that's kind of why I wanted it. So, and I've got to be honest, I love the bottle. It's so cool. So I kind of like it sitting there with the rest of my perfumes, and it's such a cult classic. I felt like it deserved a place in my collection. I really, really fancied it. So I would describe this as bold, musky, very sharp, very strong, slightly heady. I would probably be careful when I wore this. I wouldn't wear it if I was travelling, because I get travel sick, or if, say, very late in the evenings, or even particularly during the day. It's very, very, very strong. It projects. It has strong sillage. It's definitely not shy. It's very bold, and it lasts a very long time. So it's definitely something you need to wear if you've got to be in the right mood. Me specifically, anyway. It's a very confident scent, and you're going to be noticed with it, and you need to know that you're going to wear it and you're going to pull it off, and you need to be ready for this kind of scent. But obviously it is a cult classic. Lots of people are familiar with this smell. It's new to me, so for me it's a really daring perfume, but I'm happy to have it in my collection, and I look forward to wearing it when the time is right. So next up we have another Thierry Mugler. In fact, this is the one I mentioned in my previous video on my summer scents. I did in fact go ahead and buy. It doesn't fit in the frame, but you know, you get the idea. So Womanity is a very dry, marine, fruity, woody scent. It's an earthy fig. It's a very earthy, dry fig base smell. It has caviar, which gives you a lovely salty note. There's not much you can say about the notes. It is straight up salty, fig and dry, but it's absolutely beautiful. Although it's dry, it's kind of bright. It's a really bright scent, and I absolutely loved wearing this when I bought this for all the hot weeks that we had. I've still been wearing it. I always reach for it when it's a warm day. So even though this is actually a very dry scent, it's still refreshing. It's still bright enough you could almost call it refreshing. It's definitely a unisex scent. I think it is extremely sexy. It's something about it is just really, really sexy. I think it is anyway. The best way I can describe this scent is, I imagine myself sitting on a stone step or something like that, sort of maybe a bit, not necessarily even very warm day, but something that gives you that kind of chill, maybe that sort of sea breeze, sort of a chill. But I'm sitting on a stone step, and you've got in that really strong smell of seaweed and the ocean. There's definitely a very strong salty seaweed kind of smell that you're getting. And obviously with the fig note as well, it's not like a juicy fig, not like a fresh, juicy, watery fig. This is a fig that's kind of dropped on the ground, and it's starting to dry out. And yeah, like I say, it's this, if you can imagine it just being dry, but really, really delicious as well. I can't say enough, it really surprised me, this scent. I didn't realise how much I was going to love it. When I heard other people talking about it, it sounded unusual and it sounded odd. And as soon as I got my hands on it, I just absolutely fell in love with it. And it has been my #1 scent for the summer. So, yeah, really happy with this. Love the bottle. It's so unusual. It's like something you would find on an alien ship, like something from Prometheus or something like that. But I absolutely love it. So that's Womanity by Thierry Mugler. So my next purchase is a new acquisition for my rose collection. This is rose, I can't even pronounce that, Anonyme, rose Anonyme, Atelier Cologne. This is absolutely beautiful. So this obviously is a rose-based perfume and fragrance. It's classed as an oriental floral. It's primarily a rose. Rose is the most strong note that you'll get from this. As soon as you spray it, it's all about the rose. It does have oud and patchouli and ginger and quite a few other notes in there. I would class this as a unisex rose, easily. In fact, I would say, I'd even go as far as to say it leans masculine. There's something about this one that I just find it a really sexy rose. It's not a shy rose. It's a good, strong, not over the top kind of a rose, but it's quite projecting. It has got a really good sillage. I would describe this as powdery, spicy, and almost there's an antique rose quality to this. It's not like a big red rose. It's almost rose petals, but really sort of amped up, higher volume rose petals. This one actually gives me a slightly kind of Eastern vibe as well. I think it might be the spiciness in this. There's ginger and the oud. It definitely gives it... This cat is determined to sabotage my video. Seriously though, look. Just make yourself at home. Don't mind me. It's got like a slightly sweet edge to it as well. I'd say it was sensual, classic, bold. If I've got another perfume that I spray around my neckline and kind of in my hair, if it's a perfume that I'm wearing and it has an element of rose in there, but I want to bring the rose out even more, I just spray a little bit of this on my wrists, and it meets it in the middle, and it gives it a beautiful rose, amped up rose. It projects this beautiful rose that's not too green and not too potpourri smelling, not too artificial. It's just a really beautiful kind of, yeah, it's just a beautiful, beautiful rose. I'm fussy with rose. I've mentioned it before. It's got to be the right kind of rose. This is a strong rose without being too heady. It just sits exactly as I want it, and I absolutely love it. And I've been using it a lot, and like I say, layering it and kind of pairing it up with other fragrances. So you can wear it on its own, obviously, if you love your rose. But I actually do enjoy pairing it up, and I think it'll be a lovely one to wear for the autumn and winter because of its strength and because of its sort of Eastern aromatic sort of spiciness. I think this is going to be great for wearing and pairing up with other scents around the cooler months. So next up we have a perfume by Viva La Juicy. This is Viva La Juicy Sucre. So I kind of wanted to jump on the bandwagon as I did with Alien. This is the Viva La Juicy line. I had seen so many videos of this line of perfumes. Obviously there are quite a few flankers. The original I think was just Viva La Juicy Couture. I think that was just the original name of the first one. And I've always seen them in stores, and I've always, you know, I just haven't reached for them. I haven't really been interested. And obviously now that I've got my fragrance journey well underway, I've been hearing, the way I hear about this one, I felt this was something I really had to get my nose on. Just the way they talks about it being very sweet. Absolute sucker for the bottle as well. The bottle is, let's get it out. Okay, so just love this. I love this little bottle. I'm not normally one for bottles that kind of lean young or a little bit, I don't want to use the word tacky, but you know what I'm saying. It's got that kind of dressed up element to it. It's not normally my kind of thing, but there's something about this one that really got me. I mean, I make cakes for a living, well, not for a living, but I make wedding cakes as a part of business with my sister, and obviously the cake element, the cupcake elements of this really got me, and I just thought I just have to see what it smells like. So I got a sample on eBay, and yeah, absolutely loved it. When I first smelt the sample, I did recognise the kind of the scent DNA of something I'd smelt before. The kind of, if I get past the sugar elements of this, I could recognise the scent I had smelled, and I think I had noticed it before. This is described as a sweet, fruity floral. This is incredibly sweet, as the name would suggest. Obviously, it is technically called sugar. I like the sugarness of this. I think it works. What it is with this is there's an undercurrent of a sort of old-fashioned perfume. The sort of perfumes I would remember wearing as a young girl, anything that was probably cheap and pleasant, but you know, it's that kind of old-fashioned little girl's perfume. But the sweet elements of this is what I think makes it really modern and really fun and playful and really inviting if you like those kind of, you know, sweet scents. It is classed as a gourmand as well. It has an awful lot of delicious notes in here, including things like I think it's whipped cream and different fruits and vanilla bean, all the things that would make it really delicious and edible. I would say this is, to me, it's cozy, it's definitely youthful. I think you can wear it at any age, but it definitely leans kind of youthful for me, in a way where you feel youthful. It doesn't have to be for a little girl or anything. It definitely leans more feminine, although obviously anyone can wear a feminine scent. This is just, it leans feminine. And I like the sweetness in here. I would say it's such a strong sweetness, it almost leans metallic. It's, the way I describe it is if you've been eating sugar all day and your teeth start to hurt, you know that, imagine that metallic-y thing you get at the back of your teeth. You get that kind of vibe from the scent. It's like a powdery sugar, a powdered sugar kind of vibe. But I really love that about this. And what I tend to do when I wear this is actually layer it. Like I did with my previous perfume, I actually like wearing this on my wrist, especially when I go to bed. If I've got another perfume on me that's kind of cozy, this is one I'll sweeten it up with and put on my wrists. And it's just really pretty and youthful and enjoyable and just delicious. And I'm really pleased I got hold of this, because actually this was extremely hard to get hold of. It's not really available in the UK. Luckily there was someone on eBay selling this for a really good price as well. Otherwise I'd had to have bought this from America, I think. I think it's still available in America, but as far as I know, it's just really not available anywhere in the UK. So I'm really, really pleased I managed to get hold of this little bottle. Really enjoy the scent. So I'm really happy that I got this in my collection. So this is Viva La Juicy Sucre. So next up is a fragrance I never, ever, ever thought I would buy. It is fabulous. Okay, it's flipping, fudging, fabulous. I don't need to say it because you can see what it says. So yeah, this is described as, I think, an aromatic woody fragrance, possibly. What got me about this actually was how different it was to anything else that I've smelled. I don't know how I didn't recognise, you don't always, your nose isn't always ready for things when you first smell them, and I wasn't perhaps ready for this one, but coming back to it and hearing about what the notes were, and now learning more about notes and recognizing things, I could really smell the notes. And what really got me was how beautifully creamy this scent actually is. It's the sage, the creamy sage, I think it's clary sage, it's the tonka bean, it's the leather. They're the three notes that I tend to think of when I smell this. There are other notes obviously in this which I'll list, but when I smell this, I get those three notes, and they're creamy and they're all wound together beautifully. And I love how it makes me feel, this perfume. I've been spraying it so much. I've been wearing it every day since I managed to get hold of this bottle, and I can't get enough of it. The more I wear it, the more I love it. And on a day where I think I need to give it a rest, because it's not a cheap perfume, you know. If there's a day where I think, okay, you're going silly, don't keep spraying it, then I'll miss it. I actually miss it because it's become kind of like a signature scent for me, because it's not too strong. It's not strong at all, actually. I wish it was stronger. I wish it would last a bit more, and I wish it would project a little bit more, especially for the price. But it doesn't do that. So I do tend to go in with a heavy hand and give it a good, at least 5 sprays, which, you know, if I wear it every day, I'm gonna soon run out of this stuff. It's definitely easily unisex. Anyone can wear this. It's not fruity, it's not floral, it's not sweet. It's just this beautiful, creamy, slightly aromatic, everyday kind of a scent. I would say definitely more day wear. One you can definitely layer, although because again, as it's quite an expensive fragrance, you kind of don't want to layer it because you're not getting to enjoy it for what it is. I've enjoyed wearing this as the summer's sort of coming to an end, although it is warming up again, unfortunately for me, because I don't particularly like that. But it's coming to an end, and this sort of change of season, it's been nice to have a completely refreshing, brand new scent to wear. It's very clean. It's a very, very clean kind of a smell. It's a funny category that I'd put this in. I think it's a love-hate relationship with this perfume that a lot of people have got. I know on Fragrantica people do complain about the name, and obviously it's relatively offensive, but of course that's Tom Ford, and it's about this kind of, you know, branding, shock value branding, which I think's probably worked quite well, if I'm honest. Doesn't really bother me, the name. It is what it is. You know, I don't think it suits the scent. I would have, if me personally, I would have called it something like creme de sage, or something that would give you the idea that you're going for what you're going for. I mean, effing fabulous to me would be some powerhouse smell that's kind of captivating and strong and, you know, spicy, but this really isn't like that at all. The thing that gets me the most with this, and the reason I enjoy it so much, is when I'm wearing it, something about it reminds me of the 80s. I grew up as a young child in the 80s, and it was all about, you know, growing up, it's like a lot of plasticky things. There is a plasticky kind of thing to this, but not in a bad way. It's actually quite, for me, it's quite nice, it's quite comforting. I can remember being a kid in the 80s playing with my plasticky beach balls and Play-Doh and all those kind of things. And maybe being in a kitchen that was clean, and obviously sage was quite a lovely herb people would cook with quite regularly in the 80s. Well, people still do, but you know, often with your roast dinner or something like that, sage is always used. And there's just something about all those elements together that really throw me back to being a kid in the 80s. And it's another element to this that I really, really, really love. I'm gonna go in and just spray it. What the hell? That's what we're here for. It's got a nice sprayer too. Okay, you get a bit of an alcohol hit at the beginning, but that goes away really quickly. I think the leather is what you get first. You get this creamy leather, and then very quickly you start to get the tonka bean, and then the clary sage. I think it just ties it all together with this kind of uplifting, aromatic, kind of soft, herby, clean scent. I just absolutely love this. It's like nothing else I've got, and I love it for that reason. It's, you know, I've got so many florals and so many fruity scents. This is just completely sitting in its own little place, and it's just, I love it. And the clean element to this actually is what led me to get my next purchase, and also led me to kind of be interested in sage and perfume. So let's get into that. So next up is a perfume that I actually received today. I haven't even opened it. I thought I'd save my unboxing for you guys and share it with you. It's a huge box. It's actually from a company in France called, hang on, Les Senteurs. And this is, let's get this out, because it's like, there's tons, it's really well packaged, it's really beautiful. So we'll just dig in. I think there's some samples in here as well. It's like a whole farmyard in here, and haystack, here we go. So, this is the perfume that I bought. This is called Virgile, and it's by Sylvaine Delacourte. Okay, let's crack into this one. So, it's a nice metal box. I really like that. This is where I hope that it's fine, because I haven't actually checked it yet. Yeah, so there you go. This is Virgil. So Sylvaine Delacourte, I don't know much about the background, but I do think she was the nose behind a lot of the Guerlain, sorry, my pronunciation's awful, perfume. So she obviously has quite a lot of good background into making lovely fragrances. And this is the line that she came out with a lavender, not a lavender, I can't talk. A vanilla line and a musks line. I've got samples of all of the vanilla line. You can, I bought like a pack of 5 little samples, and this is the one that I like. This is the one that stood out. The rest of them were nice. They were pleasant, but they weren't anything special. This one to me stood out completely as something very unusual. It's incredibly powdery. It's very, very clean. It has a really beautiful note of clary sage. And it's the clary sage that make this a beautiful aromatic kind of a fragrance. If comparing it to Tom Ford one, this one, the creaminess in this takes a slight backseat, I would say. And on top of the creaminess, you get much more of a herb, aromatic, powdery note. It's one, if you were stressed and you wear this, it would really make you feel nice. It would really, you can close your eyes and it will kind of take you back into this kind of zen place. And it's because it's nothing like anything else I own. I love that. I'm kind of breaking boundaries little by little with fragrances. I'm trying to get out of comfort zones, and I think this is kind of my new avenue of fragrance. Sweetness to this as well. It's like a really powdery lemon, powdered lemon with beautiful herbs and just a clean puff. It's like a puffy cushion of clean herbs, and I would say it was very, I was going to say it was actually very feminine, but I think this would sit unisex absolutely fine because of the cleanliness of it, and because it is aromatic. I actually think this would be fine on anybody. When I smell this, I honestly think of a beautiful lady in this big summer hat, and she's kind of doing her gardening, probably in a Mediterranean kind of environment, and there's a serenity around her, and she's picking herbs from her herb garden, and there's just this beautiful, calm, serene vibe all around her, and I kind of want to be her wearing this. That's how I picture a very feminine lady that's kind of just got it all together, and she's just out in her little garden with a big sun hat, and there's nobody else around, and she's got wearing linen, anything that's clean. I don't know how, that's kind of where I get with that. I just really love it. It took me by surprise how much I like this. I wore it, and as I wore it through the day, I just kept smelling it and thinking, yeah, this is new, this is nice, I really love this. And I do love this bottle as well. It's like this big bubbly bottle, and it's just absolutely beautiful. I think it's definitely a day scent, and I would probably wear this spring, summer, and possibly autumn as well. I think it'd be lost in the winter. I don't know you probably could wear it around the house, and it's, like I say, because it's this clean, mellow kind of a scent, I think it's okay around the house, but I don't think it would really project, or it wouldn't really notice in the cooler months. But it's still a very versatile scent. I've not tried any of the musks yet. I might try them at some stage, but I'm really happy that I've got this scent, and I'm really looking forward to wearing it. So this is Virgil, and it's Sylvaine Delacourte. So my final fragrance is one that I actually don't have because I returned it. I was so excited about getting it, but it just didn't work out for me. And I really want to know if anybody else has got this fragrance and if it's worked for them, because I'm confused about it. It's the Dolce & Gabbana Pour Femme Intense. I fancied something that was very light and very sweet and kind of like a powdered sugar situation, and something that was still nice enough that you could wear for an evening. And I bought this perfume from a department store here in the UK. I won't mention which one because there's no point really. And it was brand new, purchased it, sprayed it, and it smelled of nothing. It literally smelled of nothing. It was like spraying a little bit of alcohol in the opening, and then it went into absolutely nothing. And there could have been a slight waft of sugar as if it had passed an hour before. And I was so disappointed. I thought perhaps it was a dud perfume. So I took it back, got a refund. The store was absolutely fine, and actually they agreed that it smelled of nothing, and they were confused by it too. My friend who I was with at the time, she smelt it and agreed, and she actually smelt it again in the department store, a different bottle, and said actually that she still couldn't smell anything. So I'd love to know if this is just us with having a weird nose day, or whether it is actually the way it is, and perhaps it just works for certain people. So that was the Dolce & Gabbana Pour Femme Intense. So like I say, total mixed bag of fragrances here, probably something for every occasion, and literally, you know, the whole year of various fragrances that will suit every different thing. The lovely effing fabulous Aussie Fragrance, check him out, he's flipping awesome and absolutely hilarious, has just done a review of Tom Ford, fucking fabulous, I just said it, and he gives his take on it and what he thinks as well. So do check him out because he's absolutely brilliant, and get his perspective on it as well. So that's all, I'll leave you there. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've all enjoyed my video, and yeah, have a great day, and I'll see you all on the next one. Take care, bye.